Welcome back. The pandemic has highlighted the importance of school nutrition for children, especially when those services were not available for a time. And many school nutritionists are very concerned about their children within their school population. What can we do to make sure that no child goes hungry, especially right here in our local area? Well, I spoke with Alexis Glick recently, CEO of GenYouth. Let's take a look.
A recent survey from GenYouth, a leading nonprofit dedicated to creating healthier school communities, found that 73% of school nutritionists are concerned about child hunger in the coming school year, with the pandemic putting even more pressure on schools to deliver daily nutrition to tens of millions of students. Today we are joined by Alexis Glick, CEO of GenYouth, to discuss the survey results and how you can help schools right here in Utah feed local students. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Alexis, the U.S. Department of Agriculture recently extended universal school meals through June 2022. What exactly does that mean, and what are the benefits for schools, students, and families?
Well, it's a very unprecedented move by the federal government. USDA oversees school meals, as you referenced, and universal meals will now be offered to all kids regardless of household income. It's a key way to tackle food insecurity and hunger among our kids. What it will do is it'll really level the playing field. It'll allow equitable access to meals. It'll take away the stigma of the haves and have-nots. It brings down the administrative burden on schools. Of course, for families, it's of great need and help, particularly for those who are coming off of unemployment benefits. And of course, school meals for many kids in this country is the healthiest meal they receive daily.
The recent survey of school nutrition professionals revealed deep concerns about food insecurity. What can you tell us about that?
Well, at GenYouth, we support 75,000 schools across the nation and 40 million kids. In fact, we support schools right there in your backyard. So what we decided in the wake of this announcement was to survey school nutrition professionals, folks in the cafeteria, the frontline workers feeding our nation's kids, to say, what do you need in the wake of this decision? Number one, what they said is that food insecurity is their number one concern. They also said 86% of them said that they will be serving more meals in more mechanisms than ever. So imagine they're serving more kids in more day parts, more meals in more options than they ever have before to tackle the issue of food insecurity. So what we're trying to do at GenYouth is tackle what I call the school hungernomics deficit that school buildings are facing across the country.
How are schools paying for this, and does universal free school meals cover these costs?
It's an excellent point, and that's what school hungernomics is all about, is how they pay for it. So universal meals are reimbursed by the federal government. The problem is the cost of providing those meals for breakfast and lunch is more expensive than the reimbursable rate. So it's about an 85-cent deficit for breakfast and about a 50-cent deficit for lunch. If you add that up to the amount of meals they'll be serving, it's a big cost for schools right there in your backyard. That's what we're trying to do at GenYouth, is we created something called the End Student Hunger Fund, where we allowed school buildings to apply for up to $3,000 in grants. We've been able to support 10,000 schools. We have grant requests from another 10,000, and right there in your backyard, we've been able to provide 63 schools grants, but as you know, you have 131 schools in the market. We have about another 37 schools requesting grants, and that's what we're trying to tackle, is how do we help your schools meet the deficits so they can provide these more than necessary, but frankly, critical meals.
And how can people help? Where can we get more information?
Well, you can go to GenYouthNow.org to learn about our End Student Hunger Fund. If so inclined to give, you can go to GenYouthNow.org/donate, or you can text schools to 20222. It's a one-time $25 donation. It's going to help us end student hunger now. And as school is back in session, there's nothing that we want more than to make sure that no kid is facing hunger, that the only hunger they have is the hunger to learn.
Such a good point. Thank you so much, Alexis, for joining us today. I really appreciate this important information about school meals and how we can help. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.